Welcome to Bridge 9 Podcast, episode number 11. I'm Tyler.
I'm Brian.
I'm Ryan.
Coming up on January the 17th, we have our punk rock flea market. It's going to be running from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. right here at our warehouse. The address for that is 119R Foster Street, building number 4, floor 3 in Peabody, Massachusetts. It's going to be a really good time. We did this a couple years ago. We weren't able to make it work last year, but we're back and we're really excited. We got labels like Triple B, Painkiller, Deathwish, 6 Feet Under, Tor Johnson, a couple others, and we're also going to have a bunch of other cool small businesses and people just selling their personal collections, selling photography, art, just DIY stuff in general. I think we might have a couple food vendors there. So it's going to be just an all-around really good time. And it's like an open house, open invitation. We're really excited about it, and hopefully y'all can make it out. Again, that's Saturday, January the 17th from 10 to 6. And this week, this is the Agnostic Front interview. We had those guys stop by the office about 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, and they kind of just took the reins and went to town. Chris introduced the situation, and they went for it. And there's some cool stuff, there's some funny stuff, and there's some interesting stuff. And yeah, it's cool. It's cool to hear that band speak about their career and themselves and still be genuine.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. We kind of wanted to just give a brief intro and set that up, and we'll let the interview speak for itself. So we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Later.
I just want to take this moment to, thank Agnostic Front for coming by the Bridge 9 office, being part of our 2015 20-year anniversary of the label, interviews. And, we've been working together for a while now.
Yes, we have. We've been working since maybe it was Another Voice since the Warriors release.
It was, so I was trying to do the math, and I think the first time, we talked was in, 2005 when you guys went on the Another Voice tour. And that was when you were doing Europe for 6 weeks, and then you had a 6-week...
Those days are over.
Yeah. A 6-week U.S. tour.
Whoa.
And I remember...
And I didn't hang myself.
Yeah, it was a long tour. But I remember I hit up... actually, Anno Chromac, hit me up and said, hey, we're doing this Agnostic Front tour. And Tara...
Arnold Chromac is doing it now. Okay, go ahead. I like where this is
love
going.
him. R.I.P. But,
yeah.
So he hit me up. I just remember I'd send him a package. Back in those days, I would mail him a package. Every time we had new releases, we would advertise in Shock, and he was always very supportive of the label, so I would hook him up with stuff. And he had just gotten the Death Before Dishonor, Friends, Family Forever CD, and liked it a lot. And I think it was literally
a week before the tour, because Tara couldn't make it last minute, a week before. And that's when all the communication started happening. That's when we got Death Before Dishonor on.
Yeah.
And then we got him on that tour quickly, like you said. That's when we kind of met through all the communication stuff. Then we quickly got him on a U.S. tour, too. So we gave him a back-to-back tour of brutality.
It's so funny, because those guys had never done more than 6 days in a row.
Yeah. And you never know it. That's how they're professional.
They were
good work ethic, great guys.
Next thing you know, they're out there for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Poor band, we ruined them.
Next thing you know,
every other band.
Next thing you know, after those tours, divorces, breakups. Right, those are crazy.
Those are great times. We had a great time with That Before Dishonor. It really was a fun tour. Both that and the U.S. was just really great.
I just remember, because I think it was your booking agent here that hit me up after you guys were already in Europe, and she said, hey, maybe it was like Love Is Red or some band, who was supposed to do the first
and they
leg,
canceled,
and then they canceled. Like, hey, let's do something with Death Before Dishonor.
Well, you know what? Made us friends with Death Before Dishonor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now they're my brothers.
You've done a lot of stuff with them since.
Sure.
Over the years.
We're really good friends with.
We even got a song Death
Brian,
Before Dishonor on the new album, and I always think of Brian every time we play it. I can't help it. I don't know why.
Nice.
Can't help it. Don't know why. Death Before Dishonor. DBD.
Well, then, so that was 2000. Even before that, Mike, you weren't on the rise.
Yep.
And I met you again at Anno's, and that was Anno's Fest, right?
Yeah. Anno's Hardcore Party.
Yeah.
Life-size poster of Anno.
Yeah.
Wasn't
God
it
rest his
Disasters on
soul.
tour
Yeah.
too, right?
I think they were.
Yeah, we were on tour together.
Yeah.
That's when the bus driver wanted to throw us out. He said we were worse than Rutan Wu-Tang Clan, remember?
Yeah.
He said, "You guys are worse than Wu-Tang Clan." I'm like, really? And his ass was on the rise. Remember that?
On the
He
rise.
was trying to throw us off.
Disasters.
Yeah, we was trying to throw us out of the bus on that day. And Arnold goes in that bus, straighten that hippie out.
He was freaking out because I think on that bus I did mushrooms one night and I was running through the bus like a maniac.
Worse than Wu-Tang Clan. Wow. That was great.
Oh man.
Well, because I was over there with Slapshot, and they did. I mean, that's where I saw On the Rise.
Yep.
And then I came back to Boston, and within 6 months, I think we reissued the release that Ice Cream had put out over there because it wasn't available here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's right. It was on Ice Cream Records, and then you guys picked it up and released it in the States. That's right. Yeah.
And then you guys broke up.
Yeah, then we broke up, just like every other band.
Yeah, you've probably been through that ringer a lot of
Right.
times.
We had a band this summer that broke up after a month after their album came out.
Yes.
Wow.
We did a whole tour of the state. We didn't reach the West Coast. We went as far as Texas.
Yeah.
That's far. You went to Santo Domingo.
You remember that? You were in Colorado.
We did.
And they're great. I was a big fan of On the Rise.
Yeah.
I
Really.
remember
It was
that.
a lot of fun.
I remember that tour you went on.
And Roger, you did guest vocals on it, so that was
Yeah.
that was your first time on a Bridge 9 release,
That's right.
number 37. So
On the Rise was a lot of
Then
fun.
we did we ended up doing the singles, and then we ended up doing the United Blood and the Victim in Pain re-releases.
that's right. So in 2007 we did the the single for the Warriors released on Nuclear Blast.
Yep.
And then 2009, I remember I hit you up in 2008, and I said, I'd love to do some sort of 25th anniversary release for United Blood.
Yep.
And I think we talked about it briefly, and then I think like a year went by, and then out of the blue, you hit me up and said, "Hey, what about a 25th anniversary for Victim in Pain?" And that was an awesome email to get. So we basically pulled that together.
And you did a great job. It was a beautiful.
Thank you. Put those
It came out beautiful. And then we did a reissue of something else.
Live at CBG.
Live at CBG
So that was
doing
in
that tour.
2012.
And we did that little tour. And we did play the New York show.
Yeah, that was a fun record to reissue and put out together. Like, putting the embossing the boots on it.
Yeah. It came out really nice. And that was kind of like the black second reissue of Big
Yep.
Right.
Embossed.
Yep.
And now we got a new album.
Yeah,
we
we're just in the
just
studio
recorded a new
with
record.
Paul Miner.
Yeah, Paul Miner's great. We got a brand new record. We got Craig, Skinhead Craig from Boston.
Yep.
No, he's in the band now. It's great, man. The new record is back hard. It's just hardcore.
It's definitely more of a hardcore record, more old school.
Yeah, it's more organic.
Organic.
You like that? Who said that? They
that's
said that.
organic.
It's more organic. Yeah.
It's
Raw.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to sound like I'm like kind of going on
we
the
have
vegan tip
in our
over
new
here.
record. In our new record, we have we initially had 8 songs, which extended to about 10, that we call the Sunday matinee sessions, and then we went in, and this sounds just like something right out of hardcore Sunday matinee. We had Rich Lottie from the Alligators instead.
Yep.
Me and him kind of we brainstormed about a lot of stuff like we do with the Alligator stuff. He came over, he helped produce those songs.
Yeah, he's
He
great,
was in the studio and
Rich.
everything with us, and
Good
it
guy.
sound like insane, kind of like Alligator-ish, but AF.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy. We have a good 8 of those within the record,
Yeah.
and then we extended to some other songs. And Mike came up with a song called Old New York. It was fucking great. I kind of hooked up the second part of the verse and switched some of the music, but it was going to be the title of the record. I said the title was tentatively was either American Dream Died or Old New York. But I thought the American Dream Died was more coherent with what's going on right now with the world, everything, all the scandals and all the bullshit that we're getting put through the ringer right now. So then after I told him that, he went and he goes, hey, the next day he called me up and he goes, I got this song, and he goes, let me send it to you. I think it's good. I think I could be onto something. Let me just send it to you. So he sent it to me, and I heard it. I was like, yeah, you're really onto something. I like where you're going. He had just some rough lyrics. And I said, I like where you're going. I think, one of my favorite movies is Taxi Driver. I said, just vision Taxi Driver, vision that kind of Old New York was what I would do. And he did. He came up with the first verse. I came up with the second verse. And he had the music. We just sped it up just a little bit, threw a couple cool breaks in it. And I think it's going to be a classic. And it actually has a Taxi Driver intro.
Nice.
I had to throw it in there. My favorite movie. And that was kind of one of the last ones. And then he also came up with a really good song called The American Dream Died. And it was kind of in the same vein as what we were doing with these Sunday matinee sessions. But The American Dream Died is more like something you would hear maybe on Liberty and Justice for.
Yeah, it's very socially aware.
Yeah.
And one's more like straight up Sunday matinee. Very eclectic, the album.
Well, you come up with these words.
Because I watch
Eclectic.
Fox 5, not like you morons
Fox
with
5
CNN.
is like the worst thing to watch.
But it's really, it's a roller coaster. It really is. You get this, you get that. The way we laid it out, I hope, we're still working on it.
We're listening to layouts right now. We're listening to sequence.
Yeah.
Believe me, I've listened to these songs. I've got 12 different sequences that go crazy.
Yeah, sometimes it fogs you up a little. Sometimes, here's what I do. I write a song. For
Yeah, we know what you do.
Here's what I do.
Tell us what you do.
Besides nothing. Besides,
Quiet. Stigma's going to talk. What do you do, Stigma?
what do I do? I don't do nothing. That's my job. My job is to do nothing. I'm going to retire in 36 months. I'm going to
No, tell us about the song, what you do.
Oh, anyway, I write a song. Let's say I get a guitar in my kitchen. I wake up, have a cup of coffee, I write a song, right? I put it on the thing, right? I record it.
Put on the thing.
And then, I forget about it. I'll go back to it,
forget about it.
6 months later, right? 6-8 months later, Maron. You forget how good it is sometimes.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. You just got to forget about it. That's what they tell me when I present the songs. Hey, what do you think it is? Forget about it. Meanwhile, they should have listened to me all along.
Yeah, all along.
That's right. That's why this album's going to come out great. Better than a lot of our other records because
we finally are
it's back
listening
to
to
Vinnie
him.
Stigma's theory of hardcore.
Into Vinnie Stigma's vault.
Yes.
We had to go into Vinnie
Into the
Stigma's
vault and rob all those fucking riffs I
I
had.
mean, how many tapes do you have just in a closet?
Thousands of them. Thousands of them.
When is
He's
the
a
Stigma tape?
songwriting machine.
That's right. I write a half a song, I throw it away. I come back to it 2 years later. And then then you complete it. Or you give it to somebody and say, here's a half a song.
Now let's put it this way. Al Capone's got nothing on his vault compared to Vinnie Stigma.
Yeah, that's right. Just ask Geraldo Rivera.
What was that quote on Raldo Rivera? We speak of what was it?
He opened up the vault. There was
No,
nothing in there.
no. We speak of social justice.
Oh, that was Phil
Phil
Donahue, right, yeah. I didn't even know what I said myself, but it sounded real good.
Pull up on YouTube.
But I made him look stupid.
Yeah, you definitely made everybody think about what the hell happened because nobody knows what you said.
Hey, you gotta be socially
You
aware,
definitely
baby.
You threw him a curveball. He didn't know how to respond. He's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, even I
What this
stumped
guy
that
just said.
skunk.
Took over his show.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the way it is. And I sat down. I was like, holy shit, I know. That fucking hot on. You could curse on here, right?
Yeah.
You could curse, right? Is that all right?
Well, you already did.
Well, because you couldn't curse on a lot of radio shows, you know how that goes.
Yeah. You can say whatever you want here.
Coffee! Time for a cup of coffee around here, Jesus Christ.
Where'd the roadies go?
They wouldn't get the
They wouldn't
coffee.
get me coffee.
Here they are. Here's the call. There you go.
Just in time. Look at that. It's like a
Coffee! I get the one with the paper cup. Yeah,
They
that
both
one.
have paper cups.
Why, you like the small? Comes in a paper cup. It tastes better. The other one come in the styrofoam. That'll kill you. You want to die healthy when you die. See, when I
die healthy when you
it's
die.
true. You want
What's
to die
that?
healthy.
So you wanna
That's why I'm going to be a vegan. So when I go to when I die, when people come up to the coffin, I want to look so grotesque that they turn away. Right? I want my mouth crooked, like that. My eyes so
die
shut.
healthy for the worms.
Yeah, fuck them too. Dunkin' Donuts. That's from Boston. Dunkin' Donuts.
That is.
I learned that from my
Originally?
friend Brian.
Is it really originally?
Yeah.
from
Yes,
Boston?
of
Yeah?
course it is.
Rhode
So
Island.
you're drinking
I think.
Boston coffee. You got a Boston guitar player.
Yeah.
Right? We've supported Boston many times, and I always said I had somebody do a tweet for me that when you had the Boston bombing,
Yep.
New York is with you.
Yeah.
Boston, New York's always with you, because
You know,
a lot of
we
guys
always
came
have-
down.
That's the
Always
day.
had
That's the day the rivalry died. I think.
Yeah.
No, honestly, we've always been very welcomed here. We've always had great shows here.
Yeah.
You know, the very beginning, early, there was a couple little stupidity, but it was.
Hey,
we could blame that on being young.
Yeah.
You know,
And
but
we even
that was
stood-
washed quick, and it's always been great. And the same thing, the Boston bands were always welcome with us too. You know, it's always we play with every band you could think of.
Let's forget it. You know.
Yeah.
You know, we stood at Choke's house years ago. He even bought us beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never forget that. I was like, and I wasn't even a beer guy or
I
anything.
don't remember
you
this.
know?
This guy's
I remember
crazy.
that. I
All
remember
right.
that. And
I don't
that was
remember
big.
Stan's house.
I mean, he's been, king of the straight edge guys.
Yeah.
But it shows that he's got an open mind.
And they put out a new record last year too.
Yeah. And
this year actually.
my guitar player's on that record. He's my guitar player. You hear that choke? But it's great. He's still in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I respect anybody that's been around for 25, 30 years. Because how many bands, in the beginning or whatever, they go away. Then 20 years later, they come back.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I got two ways to say that. One, welcome back, brother. We missed you. We loved you. I'm so happy you're back. And the other way, fuck you, motherfucker. Where the fuck were you when all these kids needed you? You don't come back and want to be on the same plateau or higher when all these other bands are working hard.
True.
And times change, you know what I mean? What, you just going to come waltzing back in?
Get in the back of the line.
Get in the back of the fucking line.
Well said.
Well, it is what it is. He's very right about that. A lot of people are just out there on their records they put out, Jesus, in the 80s. And I agree with a lot of stuff he says, but I mean, if you come back, cool, but how passionate are you? How about a new record?
Yeah.
Show the people, show the scene,
Right.
show people you can. Of course, records are classic, and I give it to you, But how actively are you? Is it actively to cash in, or
We're talking
actively
integrity here.
Because you're passionate, because you love it, you missed it. I got songs, I got music, I really want to come back, or is it I'm back for the check?
Yeah. The glory.
And that's
I'm back because I'll go through a midlife crisis. See, I never had a midlife crisis.
yeah.
Yeah, I never did.
He's been old
because I'm
since
too
I joined the
stupid.
band. That was
I'm
my
too
life was
stupid
midlife.
to have a midlife crisis, motherfucker.
This
That was
guy's
before
been
he had
old since
Mustang.
I joined the band. I was like, man, you're old.
Yeah, he used to
And-
laugh at me all the time. I was 32 at the time, and you were.
No,
like-
you were young. You're a lot younger. Than
I
me.
know, but when you were, I remember you laughed at me when I was 32.
I was
Now
laughing
look at
when
you, you're old.
I was laughing at you when
Yeah.
you were 26. I was like, this fucking guy. Look at this guy.
When Roger first joined the band, he was, of course, my greatest friend in the world, and I loved him so much. And I was like his older brother, and I took him in and all that. And through the years, when he wound up taking care of me and being my older brother, and I went astray. I was drinking. I was going crazy. And Roger always was well grounded, and he was like he wound up being like my older brother. Really, So
Stigma's
thank you for
retired.
that. Thank you for that.
Stigma's retired in 36
Yeah,
months.
36 months.
Hey, wait a minute.
For nursing
Wait a
homes
minute.
for him.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna be 62, and I want my fucking checks and everything.
Wait a minute. But then Roger moves to Arizona. In comes.
Me?
Yeah! My gal, the new babysitter.
Yeah. Thank God I got Mike. I gotta say.
The new.
So how long have you been living in Arizona now?
I've been there for 8 years now.
Okay.
Maybe 9. going on
Yeah,
9.
that long.
I've been married for 8. My daughter's 7. And this year in August will be 9 years I've been down here. It's weird because you know what? I've always loved it. Touring America, I loved it, And it's one of those places. Initially, I went there. The intention was to go there for a year, 2 years max. My wife finished her studies. She left because she was in college. She just left and said, "Let me go finish it," So we go there so she could finish it, and then we go, okay, we'll figure out where we're gonna go next. But you get there, next thing you know, we're starting having babies. Then we start thinking, where we're gonna go? It's so affordable to live there. It's so like, how can I haul back 2 kids to Manhattan or New York City and make it work?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And as long as I was near an airport, I was okay. I got a job out there, I was okay. And with the technology in our days, we do everything like I told you. Mike sent me a song, cool. I like it. And I sent him back a second verse, and that's how we do things.
Yeah.
They demoed the whole album here in Boston at somebody's house here.
John Bean.
John Bean.
Yeah, They demoed the whole thing, well, almost the whole thing, and then they sent it to me. And he sent it to me with all him singing too, just because we were already been demoing on the road and stuff, and we go back and forth, change this, change that, whatever, you know. And it's easy.
And he's still thousands of miles away from me, so it works out good for him.
Yeah, you don't get to see him.
Yeah.
He's lucky.
Oh, it works out good for me. Never mind him.
I gotta deal with this.
It's like a bad marriage. It's like a bad marriage, and we really aren't for the kids.
Really in it for the kids.
Really
That's
what
about
truth
it.
is.
That's amazing.
A
And
divorce
Beansy, good.
long overdue.
Beansy, good guy too.
Yeah,
I got a nice torpedo cigar for him when I see him later.
nice.
Me and him were cigar guys. Me, him, Craig. You know, I'm trying to get like a cigar club going on.
He's gonna go off to something crazy.
Well, I'm just saying. You want to
He's
talk
just
shit
about-
over here or what?
Yeah, he's
I'm
gonna
trying to
talk
get my
shit.
cigar club. You got the car
Tell
club.
him about your movie career. Come on.
Wait, I'm talking about my cigar club now. Here, I'm trying to get going on. Anybody out there want to hang around with me and smoke a cigar? We're more than welcome.
Where do
That's
they go?
all.
Where do they go to join?
Anywhere I am, anywhere you are,
That's it.
just light up a cigar and have a good, relax. A glass of wine, a cigar. There you go.
He was at Bloomberg Hates Cigars.
Yeah, Bloomberg. He smokes
Smokes
cigars.
cigars. That's calamity.
You need to get like a Twitter account for that, just so
Yeah.
people, whenever they'll know where you're gonna be.
Yeah, that's a good
I'll
idea.
tell you where he's gonna be sleeping in his bed.
No, we're gonna
You
be
know
at
why we
the.
can't do that because I'm gonna have to be doing the tweets because he doesn't know how to do it.
No, later, where I'm going to be
Oh,
is
he'll
at
be
the
sleeping.
church till later today at 9 o'clock tonight. Be at the church, everybody.
Well, in 3 months when this airs.
Oh, good. Well, you're 3 months late.
Yeah, you missed it.
Yeah, go to church more often. Maybe you catch me there.
Nick goes to church every day.
I do go to church every day.
He does.
I do go to church every day. And I curse out all my fucking
He
enemies.
does. He wishes death on him.
I wish death on all my fucking enemies. That's right.
Just go and ask for forgiveness every morning.
But I
Couple
forgive
of
myself.
marriages.
As long as my friends and my family, I pray good for you, all you guys, you're my friends. You ain't got to worry. But I put the fucking horns on all those other motherfuckers out there.
But Pokey, you gonna say anything? You're just gonna
Okay,
He doesn't have a
say,
chance to, the poor guy.
say something in
I can't
Chinese,
get-
Pokey.
Yeah, say something in Chinese.
No, you can't get a word in. with this guy.
We only have Chinese fans listening. Say something. Chunk, 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 chunk.
Don't curse.
Don't curse. You see, he cursed. He cursed in Chinese. He didn't even know
I
it.
didn't even know.
We're so eclectic, this band, man. We got Cubans, Chinese, Italians,
Speaking
Jews.
of
We got
Cubans,
everybody.
that's coming down. The whole thing. Did you be watching on the news, breaking news?
Yeah.
What? What's that? What's
That
that?
was the cover
Cuba.
of the newspaper today.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh,
Yeah,
we ever go
finally,
back?
Finally, Grudge comes. We're trying to go.
It's about time, too.
We were trying to go
really.
last year. We did all the paperwork. We sent it in. I get a letter 6 months past the day we were going to go, saying, well, just reviewing your package out, but since it was 6 months ago, I guess we don't need to go any further with this. That's the letter I got. So I didn't bother replying. I'm like, yeah, you should have replied to this maybe 8 months ago, but like 6 months past the date. So I'm like, I don't want to bother with this
All
anymore.
right, we'll do it again.
But now things are looking good.
Yeah.
Things are
All of a
looking
sudden,
good. All of a
overnight.
sudden. Yeah.
Overnight, all of a sudden.
You know why? Well, there's got to be an
What's the
agenda.
threat to that? You pull the plug, it'll sink.
What?
You pull the plug on that, it'll just...
No.
Really, I'm not scared of Cuba. I love Cuba. You know what I mean? I go, look at this guy. I'm practically married to this guy over
We
here.
played with a great Cuban hardcore band in Canada recently on our Canadian
Questions? No.
Aravio.
Oh, questions.
Questions from Brazil.
Right. Sorry.
And we played with them in Canada. It was great. We did like 4 or 5 shows together.
Yeah,
They were excited. Prior to us playing together, I was in contact with their guitar player, and just via emails through somebody else, and they sent him some shirts because apparently they love Agnostic Front Cuba. They do because I'm Cuban. They know that. And to them, Agnostic Front and the Ramones are the greatest things in Cuba. Very, very big underground punk hardcore movement. So I got them to play the Black and Blue Bowl in America. They came all the way from Cuba. They played, but nobody knew who they were. They played when Judge played and Madball played, and it was so much. That was so much publicized, which was great. But this band came from Cuba, Cuban hardcore band.
Yeah.
And nobody said nothing. Like it didn't even happen. And they came all the way from Cuba. They played and they went back to Cuba. Like who the fuck does that? You know what I mean?
Really.
And it was like they have footage of them playing there and stuff, but like it's like, how come nobody mentioned that?
Yeah.
Like this is far bigger news to me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean,
How many Cuban hardcore bands?
that's what I'm trying to say. In a place like a band coming from Cuba,
An oppressed
country,
kids like that. I mean, real.
and they're
for real.
good, and they're really good. You know what I mean? They came, they played, and they loved it. There was no complaints. They met my brother. They were so happy. They loved the show. I just got an email from one of the guys. He wants to try. They want to come to the Black and Blue this year. If I can help them again, because it's through an organization they got there called.
Through music
Yeah,
organization.
it's a I forget the name off the top of my head. Can't remember the name of. It's a rock association. They do. It's a transfer exchange with Canada and Cuba or Europe, but of course they don't have this with America because there's no relations.
Yeah,
But got them to play New York.
that's awesome.
Legally, they flew over from Cuba into New York. They got videos of them in New York, and they flew back. And because they did that, because they came back, they were allowed to keep doing this stuff. If any of them takes off, I'm sure that it's over. So,
Little does anybody know, those guys are they broke ground.
They did break ground. They broke ground.
the band's called
States
Arabia.
now.
You can look it up online, and I did a video with them. I sang on a song for them. They did like a little video. It kind of squeezes in, like when they met us in Canada, and I sang in a song for them. And they're a great band, and they're excited. I'm still in contact with them, and their dream was to bring Agnostic Front to Cuba and play. It was all set up. Everything's set up, and Ian from McFarlane is all set up. I'll go their video, everything, all set up, and we're all waiting. 6 months later, I get the letter. I sent it to Ian. I sent it to everybody. Can you look at this shit? You know, like.
Sorry, we'll get another
But
chance.
we'll get there.
We'll get there.
When was the last
And
time you were there?
I left Cuba when I was 5 years old.
Imagine the epitaph: a kid from Cuba escapes Cuba, comes to America, joins one of the greatest hardcore bands, and years later goes back to Cuba. A hero. That's it.
That's basically the.
That's it for me,
I
man.
couldn't even imagine the show that you guys would have. That first show would be.
Well, we were expected to be, you know, it is what it is. Of course, it was going to be in Santiago, in different areas of Cuba, and then we were going to do one in Havana. That's where I was born too. But it's so commercialized there, and they're more straight up underground. We were going to play the show that was a 500-year anniversary of that city. 500-year anniversary of that city, and we didn't play because we couldn't get there. And it was going to be very like. Whatever amps are there, whatever's going on there,
Yeah.
you know, very real. You know, like they don't got.
We're not
great
like
PA.
that anyway.
You know, they'll tell you we don't have any great PAs. They don't have it.
But yeah, it's okay.
So okay, well,
We're there. That's all that matters.
I want to go play in my country. This is what I was.
Right.
You know?
They have whatever was made in
That's all that
and you know what?
matters.
You
That
can probably
we're
play a
there.
banjo in the
Got
fucking
the old
lobby.
1950s cars there. So
Yeah.
they're not going to have any, you know.
They got stuff in Havana. There's a professional club. Sepultura went there and played. They left them for free the whole gear. It's all there.
Wow.
But it's very tied into the government, and it's kind of weird how it's a weird kind of a club. And they finally got us a play in there, but obviously waiting. But we're gonna go. Don't worry
We'll
about
get
it.
there.
I
We'll
know
get there.
before I drop dead.
Yeah. Well, before I drop
Yeah.
dead.
Well, this
I'm
guy
a lot
outlived me.
older,
This
so
guy's
I got
gonna
more.
outlive me.
You know, I'm into Deadpool already.
Never
You know.
gonna drop dead, this guy.
Yeah,
He's
too
gonna-
old to die. Never too old to cry.
We'll get there. That's the plans.
So that's one of our future things. That we got a couple of European tours coming up. We got the new album coming out, new video, behind the scenes. We work with my friend Todd.
Yeah.
You know,
we have yet to hit all the Asian countries too. I'm a little bit nervous, but we do want to go because it's time. Everybody's been going. Everybody's been coming back. I just got, you know, I don't like to do things unless everything is in my hand and I know there's a return ticket. I know.
Yeah.
'Cause the last thing I want to do is get stuck somewhere.
You know,
And I got kids too, so I'm worried. You know, I want to make sure it's gonna be smooth, fair. Everything's gonna come back real nice. I'm gonna go home.
yeah.
I want to go home safe, healthy. That's all I care.
Well, if you've made it this far,
Yeah.
you know, knock on
And believe me, we went through the things, man, back in the day with guys shooting at us, ballroom brawls. I mean, back in the early 80s in Texas, you know what I mean? Freddie was like 8 years old, 7 years old. We had him with us. People throwing bottles. I mean, we went through a lot.
of shit. Those are the days, you know. Something about those days that, you know, I love today because today it's a great time too. You know, I can't live in the past. Luckily and thankfully, I do have my mind for the past. I mean, what made bands like Agnostic Front was that element of danger that existed in New York City. And when people would go to shows at CBGB's, they were scared. Where are you going to go to see a show? New York City. Whoa, you're going to go to New York? It was scary to go to New York back then. It was scary to go into New York City. If you lived in Long Island, if you lived in New Jersey, going to the city was a big deal. That element of danger is what created this great underground hardcore movement, this great underground artist movement, everything. But that's all gone. That's what our song Old New York is about. So luckily enough, I had my memory, and I could remember all these things. And I could, like, just like Vinnie does, or Pokey. You know, Mikey came a little bit later, but we have these memories and we remember these things, and that's what keeps us alive. That's why we could write our songs. Because if anybody was to pick up Victim in Pain and go to New York City and like, what is this guy writing about? What is this song's about? This is a nice place. Yeah. Look at all these fancy places. Well, it wasn't like that.
That's everywhere now.
Through the 80s and going into the 90s, that shit was a ghetto.
Yeah.
You know, but it is what it is. You know, and you know what? We do miss the old New York. I do miss it. I know it sounds crazy. I miss seeing prostitutes on the streets. I miss seeing homeless people on the Bowery. I may hug a homeless person on the Bowery if I see one. I miss it. I miss that
cats, dogs running around.
Yeah, I miss real fucking people.
Garbage in the street.
Last time I was in New York, I do a car show there with the Rumblers Car Club I'm part of in Brooklyn, and we couldn't do it because of noise. Under a BQE because of noise.
Under the highway.
Where the fuck do you live in New York City? You moved into New York City and you complain about noise?
That's what goes on, you know?
Yeah,
even in the building,
you got a whole highway above the fucking thing, and that's what happens everywhere in New York City. That's what happened to CBGB's. They complain about the noise. That's what happened at the Rat here in Boston. Yeah. Complain about the noise. Don't you know it's going to be noisy if you move into a big city? Stay the fuck out.
My friend Gary used to put up the Christmas tree lights across the street from my house on the whole building. He used to light it up, and he used to light it up on my birthday. That's when you light the tree up on December 3rd, right? He used to do it every year, and he used to spit it up, wait, put it on for you. And one year somebody complained about the lights or whatever. That's it. Now wait a minute. The kick is the person who complained moved out. You know what? They could go be miserable somewhere else. But now he can't put the lights up no more. Now they have the street put up the lights, like on the lamppost, how they put, Yeah. But he used to do it himself for 40 years. My friend Gary did it.
It's a shame. Not only does it happen in New York, we saw it in New York because we live in New York. It happened everywhere, all over the world. Berlin, Amsterdam, Dublin, world here, Boston, every major city, England, every major city became what it became. It's kind of sad. So if you want those elements of danger and all that shit now, you got to go out to the suburbs, you know. But I'm just saying, you know, I don't wish that upon my kid. I'm a father now. You know, I don't want my kids to walk my path. To be honest with you, I want the best thing for them, you know. But sometimes I sit at home and I think about, like, you know, how great it was that I got what I got out of the city. I got these things that my kids won't ever get, you know. And sometimes I think about that. And I tell them a lot. I tell them all the stories. They love my stories. When I had a rat.
Yeah,
I tell them they're their favorite stories. You
I used to carry a rat in my pocket, like a rat. I would never do that today. Like, I'm afraid of rats now.
Just crazy shit. I tell them the stories, and they're like, I had an alligator flush it down the fucking toilet. True.
We had pit bulls in the house.
A little baby alligator. I didn't flush it down the toilet. My stepdad did because he didn't want me to have an alligator, you know? Yeah. They're thrilled. I told them every time we go to the bathroom, because I was like their age, I'd be afraid of poop because I thought it was going to bite my ass. You know, they went and told the story in school. You know, and then the teacher's like, what about that alligator story? So, you know, I didn't know they were going to say that.
How many parent-teacher conferences have you had?
I've had a few. My children are great kids, thank God. You know, I'm just saying, they're really good kids. It's a little weird because, you know, and so what's cool thing about the school there, and they're in a school now, it's immersion school, they're learning Spanish and English. There's other hardcore people there. Like, saw a guy the other day, had all these tattoos, all straight edge tattoos, and I went to talk to him. He's from California. And it was like, oh shit. And we, you know, you see, we're parents out there, you know.
Yeah,
we've been through what we've been through. We want the best for our kids.
Yeah.
And it was a time I guess I lived in the streets, I lived in a van. Do I want that for my kid? No.
Right. We want more, in hardcore, we need more entrepreneurs like you. We need more doctors, lawyers.
But I'll tell you what, though,
you know, we need more bands.
If I had to live in a cardboard box, as long as there's love, I would do that over anything. And in a gigantic bullshit house where everybody hates each other, nobody talks to each other, or if you have to need a bullhorn and have a conversation. I'd rather live in a cardboard box. I'd rather live in a van with my family.
And he has.
As long as it's love.
Yeah, he talks the talk and walks the walk, Roger. I gotta say, you know.
I have a daughter that's almost 3.5 as well, and I was interviewed a while ago about like, do I want my daughter to have similar experiences as me? Do I want her to deal with some of any of the adversities that I have dealt with? And I think your initial reaction is you want to protect them. You know, you want to make sure that they don't.
The parental thing.
Yeah, but you know, a friend of mine, Dan Yemen from Paint It Black, was interviewed as well for it, and he countered and he said, "Look, you know, I read what Chris wrote, but I feel, you know, I want my kid to have a lot of these. You know, I want them to have some of these experiences that, even if they're negative, because it, you know, it does build character."
Sure, I see that edge too.
You know,
it's the same thing when I took my kid to a hardcore show years ago with H2O. He was on the stage. He was going to do a stage dive. Half of me was going, "Go for it, go for it." Then the other half was, "No, don't do it."
Yeah, but you know what, Chris? I was going to say something. Speaking of all this stuff, parenting and all that stuff, it's you know, like it's just as normally you just want to protect your children. But we grew up, especially I came from Cuba, you know, and I grew up in bad neighborhoods, struggling. My mom, 3 kids. My mom was 22 years old, 3 kids from Cuba here alone, you know. And flew right from Florida right into New York, into Queens, into Jersey, you know. And we grew up in the ghettos. We grew up in bad neighborhoods. Did we know as kids? No, it was all normal. I'm playing with all the other ghetto kids, and it was normal life for us. It was normal life for my mom. She would go to work. I stay at home, watch my brothers and sisters, and I was 6, 7 years old. I shouldn't have been doing that, but my mom had to go make money for us. There's a lot of stuff, but when you're living amongst it, it's normal. But now when you grow up and you review your life, why go back there? Why do I have to take my children back to that area when I've worked so hard to be here? And I'll tell them about it. You know, I'll let them know about it. Let them know about my experiences. But do I want them to go backwards? No. I want them to move forward. That's why my family came from Cuba here.
Right.
That was my family's dream, to come from Cuba to America is the American dream. But you got to be asleep to believe it. Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's the truth. Like, I'm perfectly normal. Yeah, you sit next to me. I grew up in shit areas. Yeah, but it was normal to me, and I loved it.
You could live
I
in
was
the
telling my wife the other day, we had a club. I would build a club out of doors, bullshit doors we found in the street, and we took a paint can, we put a hole in the paint can, we took the gutter from the fucking side of the building, put that in there, and we threw oil in there. We made a little fire, and we cooked plantains, bananas in it. Now, how dangerous that shit is, you know? Because we just got a little bullshit fireplace. Yeah. She's telling me how to do it right. I'm like, I did it in a fucking paint can, and I cut a hole in it, did this, and it was just fine. I've survived. Yeah. I did bananas over it, you know? And she's like, no, you could do this. I'm like, it worked for me in the ghetto. It was fine, you know?
Yeah. That's
what I mean.
Really hard living.
Like you know,
but as long as there's love there.
Yeah.
I don't care, you know, if it's a paint can or a Viking stove. You know, there's love there. That's all that matters. As a matter, as I sit here right now, my kid is homesick. He's got a little cold or flu, but I know he's all right. But still, you know what I mean. The sacrifices that we make to do this, you know, and people see you on a stage for like an hour, let's say half hour, whatever it is, 40 minutes, whatever. You know, they go home. I'm here. This is early in the morning to late at night. My tour ain't over till Tuesday the 22nd of Monday, about 3 o'clock. A couple of days from now, before Christmas.
For everyone else, it was something they did that night.
Yeah, but that's okay. But I come to deliver the message. I'm the messenger. You know what I mean? I preach the gospel of hardcore. And that's what, you know, what I believe in. And, you know, which is all good. We played with a bunch of bands last night.
Reason to Fight.
The Struggle, Reason to Fight, and Barroom Champs. Everybody in all those bands are all my friends. Love them all. I love them so much. I'm going to get I love Rhode Island. I'm going to get an anchor tattoo. Just because I love all those guys and all those people. You know what I mean? Right now, when I get over here, we're in Boston now. Just consider Boston. Well, we go to the city, Boston. I'm going to see my friend Brian and all my other friend KO, all my friends. You know, we've been coming here for years, and I can't wait to see them. You know, love it. Love it. Hey, I could drive home. What's not to love, you know?
Yeah.
And today they got that guy on trial, that guy, the bomb guy. I hope they fucking hang that motherfucker.
That's happening in Boston today?
Yeah. The guy that did the bomb, the marathon guy. And remember, we don't run from nobody.
Unless you're Hollywood.
That's the runner theme. That's next year's runner's theme. You know, for the run thing. Yeah. Because I really, you know, I really was there. You know, it brought back a lot of things to me too. You know.
Yeah, nobody wishes that.
Yeah, really.
I mean.
And how
some
nice they
people
had
do
it,
wish
these
that,
people. They were getting all
unfortunately.
kinds of endorsements, grants, schools, housing. And they were just not good people. It's bottom line, you know? I don't know why they want to be such haters when they're getting such good treatment. You don't like it? Go away.
Yeah. I'm living proof of that, you know? Like, I see a lot of people like, oh, yeah. Look, America is what it is. Do I like the government? No. I mean, I write about it. I'm in a punk band. I'm sure there's a lot of shit I don't agree with. A lot. More than anything I agree with. But would I rather live anywhere else? No. You know what I mean? But there's people that just fucking, they go a little bit passive. But, you know, you could easily, and whenever I want to, I could pack my bags and get the fuck out. Anybody else could do that. So why do you want to live somewhere you're not happy with? That's just in general in life. Why do you want to do something you're not happy with? Why do you want to be in a shitty relationship? Why do you want to live in a shitty place?
Why do you want to move to the city when you hate noise?
Yeah, why exactly? Why do you want to move to the city when you hate noise? Sure. These are all your choices. And then most of them are bad choices. Make good choices. If you know you don't like this, move. If you don't like noise, move. You know what I mean? It's simple. But instead you want to make cause all kinds of damage and shit for other people that are perfectly content, perfectly happy. People are jogging in the streets and having a time. There's children there. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Lots of which is happening in Pakistan.
And you know what? And I understand terror and all this bullshit. But, you know, let's talk about World Trade Center when all that shit happened, okay? Cowardly attacked buildings like that. But to attack like the Washington, that Capitol,
Pentagon.
The Pentagon. I understand that. They should be where they should be prepared. They should know. You know what I mean? It's a government kind of, you know, a lot of force stuff in there. Okay, I understand that's kind of a attack. Well, you attack embassies, you attack whatever. I understand that. But like innocent places, like random, like, you know, I don't understand that.
Well, it's just like in Pakistan where they, you know,
it's horrible.
Hundreds of school
Yeah.
kids.
Oh, that's horrible. Any way you put it,
kids.
Any way you put it, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
And when I was on tour, let's talk about the Warriors record. I was on tour prior to the Warriors record. We were in Ireland, and we went from the north. We happened to play in a day they called, was it Flag Day? What was the day called?
Marching Day,
March
marching
Day,
season,
which is the day that the north and the
the
south,
orange and the green,
and they fight. And the club we were playing in is right in the middle ground,
right.
And we're playing a show, and we're watching everybody like fucking the North that hates the South, whatever. And I'm like, wow, this is a great time to play, right? Unbelievable.
The Catholic and the Protestant.
Only shit like this happens to us, you know?
Yeah.
But show was cool. You know, it was unfortunate. A lot of people got hurt out there. On the way driving down, I saw a giant thing spray painted.
It's still there. We saw it recently.
Spray painted. Someone's. One man's hero is another man's freedom. It's on one of my songs. Freedom fighters someone's freedom fighter is another one's terrorist. And it made so much sense.
One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
And it makes sense either way you look at it.
Right.
And either way you look at it, you know, they're fighting for whatever they think is freedom, whatever it's still another person's terrorist.
Yeah, but there's got to be the Marcus of Queensberry rules.
Yeah.
You know the Marcus of Queensberry rules? There are no rules. That's the rule.
But it just made so much sense, you know, like
John Wayne, little John Wayne in there.
That war too.
Hey kids, you remember John Wayne?
End. Yeah. Unfortunately, but it is what it is.
We covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we talked a lot of shit.
Yeah, you know, look.
And Pokey never said anything.
Yeah, 35 years in the band. Go ahead, Pokey, say something. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, he's laughing. Everybody's Pokey laughing.
I laugh at your jokes.
All right, there you go. That's his job. But great to have Pokey. He was in the band Leeway. You know, another great band.
Mike Gallo was on the rise.
Mike Gallo on the rise. So
Well,
we got like,
on the rise, that was the AF.
and then we got Craig. You know, so it's like a kind of an all-star lineup in a way.
I
Like
ran
all
into
the
Craig. We
hardcore
were
guys.
looking for a guitar player, and I came out to go. I went out to go see Slapshot in Phoenix, and I went to just go see the show. Said hi, Chuck, whatever, went to go to the show, and I saw Craig there and Packer, I knew Packer. Packer said, "Oh, it's my friend Craig." Oh, Craig, I heard a lot about him from the bands he's been playing with and everything. So it was casual, hello, blah blah blah, and then we started talking about we need a guitar player, and next thing you know, they went to go play on the show. I got a call from Ian. He goes, "What about Craig?" I'm like, I just saw him. He's playing with with Slapshot. He goes, Craig plays with a lot of bands. He could do it. I'm like, then I started thinking about it. I called Mike. I said, Mike, I got somebody in Boston. Craig, he's I just saw him play. I know he's great. I know he's blah, blah, blah. But I was concerned about whether he can make the rehearsals or he wanted to make the rehearsals. And being in Boston, New York, it's 3.5, 4 hours. It's an inconvenience. And when I talked to Craig, he says, I could do it, man. Don't worry about it. I could do it. So I said, okay, then go. Call Mike. Set it up. Mike set it up. Mike called me back after rehearsals. Says, we got our guy. This is great. And that was it.
Yeah. The minute he came in, boom, it was over.
Yeah, I've known Craig for over 20 years. Leeway did a tour in Europe, and Only Living Witness, his first band that he was in, they opened up for us on that tour, and that's where I met him. And we had been Facebooking for a little bit here and there recently, and then just to have him join the band.
Yeah, next thing you know, he walks into rehearsal and there's Pokey.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pokey spoke!
Man.
Well, it's funny because that's with Bridge 9 having our 20th anniversary. I've been working on some kind of retrospective projects, and one of them is kind of trying to connect how all the relationships with all the bands are intertwined.
Oh.
A lot of people ask,
like a family tree almost.
Well, a lot of people ask, how do you get on a label like Bridge 9? And it's not sending a demo. In fact, we put out 240 or so releases, and it's maybe a demo. You could probably kind of go back to like 3 or 4 bands that we found out because of demos. It's all because of their relationships with other bands on the road, people that you toured with, like you and Craig, people that you were in other bands with, we put out an Alligators record, because of my relationship with you, because of AF.
That was great.
And yeah, everything is interconnected, and even now, I could probably go back all 240 or so releases and find ways to connect each one.
Yeah, but integrity matters too. Yeah. That's another thing.
It's a community. Hardcore is all about relationships together, and you can't just write music and just like you said, you just send a demo in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to connect with people.
You gotta make bones. You gotta have some bones.
Well, it's if I did a label where I just put out, I started a new label. I asked people to send in demos. I signed 10 bands. They're not connected in any way.
Yeah, right.
It's it doesn't make any sense. I'm sure there's a lot of labels out there like that.
Right.
Just about every major label is like that. But that's the difference in hardcore. Hardcore's always been family orientated. Community. And somehow somebody knows someone else. Yeah, that's the difference in hardcore. Hardcore is real, man. It's genuine, All these other labels, even the label we're Nuclear Blast, and there's a bunch of bands I don't even know. But now they got Madball, they got Exploited, they're getting some cool stuff. But I understand. Definitely, this is more like a home ground, Yeah. Just everything. Look at this room. Look at everything you walk in. This is what we've always been used to.
Well, a label like Nuclear Blast, they have it's a big label. And you guys are a band that are established. Clearly, you tour a lot. You do a lot of stuff, so you need that behind you. But you've always had a grassroots connection. We've been doing stuff now for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, and that's what we like. And it's important to us too. And I tell our label, we just want to get a single out with you guys. It's very grassroots related. Goes out directly to our fan base, basically, because they put it out. Thankfully, or love them. They're great people. But sometimes I feel like, you need to speak directly to the people. What good is it if a record comes out if they don't know it's out? You get it? You know what I mean? What good is if there's a new Agnostic Front record, but your people don't even know about it? Well, who's going to find it?
The only thing is about something like that, I always say preach the gospel, because you might get some more of followers or whatever, more people into the community of hardcore. So that's always good. I had this conversation with a couple of squatters kids, John's son, and he was saying, "Oh, we don't." I said, "No, listen, don't think like that. So you play maybe to not your crowd, or you do a festival, and there's this band and that band. Festivals, a lot of different bands, or whatever. Always play and do the best of your ability. You might, you know what I mean? You're out there to preach the gospel. That's all.
You know what it is, and I've been through many times too. With people, some people just kind of narrow-minded, and I mean, how many people were born with tattoos, or born into hardcore, born cool?
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? Like, so what if there's a kid that is into Green Day, or some other band, Offspring, whatever. He's never seen a band like let's just say H2O, Agnostic Front, Dead Before Dishonor, and it's his first show. And then he's turned on to it. It's like every one of us. Come on, give me a fucking break. Are you gonna be that ignorant to deny that?
I met Roger at CBG.
You know what I mean? How did you find this place?
Right.
What were you listening to?
Right.
Like, don't be ignorant. Accept. And then school them, show them. But check out this band.
Right.
Like
exactly.
Well, you gotta come next week. There's this band.
Yeah. Right.
And,
hand them a flyer
and
or something.
Accept instead of deny. Instead of like. Separate.
Don't be negative.
Don't be exclusive.
And then we've always been.
Right.
That's the secret to our success, Agnostic Front. Honestly, is we're genuine people. We're real people. We've always accepted. And I know when I'm out there, there's a lot of haters. Trust me, I know that. I don't care about the haters. I do not focus on the haters. I don't care what the haters say. I'm focusing on these people here, the people that want to hear, and I'm welcoming new people. And if they hate me.
Yeah, and to all the negatives, like a naysayer, because I got part naysayer on my father's side. So here's what I say: listen, take them in. Who cares what they were? They're here with us now, and it's the here and now that matters. That's another soldier for us. So,
that's how I got into hardcore. A friend of mine knew I was into good music, and he's like, "Have you ever listened to hardcore or anything?" And I was like, "I heard about it." I remember I heard of Of course, I heard of Agnostic Front, and I heard Youth of Today, and I was like, yeah, I never. And actually played me some of the music, and I was just like, yeah, it's cool, But then he brought me to see Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget just sitting back and just being like,
this is real.
This is
great.
This is fun. This is what I want to do. I was like,
yeah, you're hurt. You got it.
I was like, this is me. I was like, this is fucking great.
And like I said, there are very few people born into it. There's people raised. There's people that bring their kids when they're little. They're listening to your song. Cool, That's what you want to do. That's how you want to bring up your child. It's great. They're born into it, and they kind of cater into it. But as long as you don't get that negative thing where you feel better than someone else just because, you're here. Like, oh, I'm more elite, and those people are fake. And, well, guess what? Somebody had to come from something.
Yeah, right.
It's a theory. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? You figure that out.
Right.
Anywhere you put it, they're here now, and I'm going to let them know this is a cool place to be, and I'm going to try to turn you on to other bands. I'm going to welcome you, and like I do to everybody I meet face to face. But if you shit on me, then I know exactly who you are, and I know exactly where I'm going to place you. But if you're going to be genuine, you're going to be a friend of mine, then welcome.
That's how I got all these guys. All these guys I met through music. And I go up to them, actually. I went up to Roger and said, hey, Roger, I like that guy. Let's go get him in the band. Boom. I don't care. I didn't never heard him sing. Who don't know what they call that? Audition. They say, hey, I like that guy. He's a nice guy. I met him on the dance floor. We used to bump into each other on the dance floor. And I said, wow, he's a fair guy on the dance floor. Because you know when a guy's going to cheap shot you. And I don't go for that shit. You know what I mean? So he was a nice guy, and then boom, hey, when you come? He came down, boom, that was it. Here we are 33, 34 years later. And that's what hardcore is about. Mikey, the worst bass player in the world. He couldn't even tune the fucking bass.
I walked into the rehearsal. I never go to rehearsal. I walked in. I looked at his bass and said, that's got to go.
Oh, the bass. He had the Paul McCartney bass.
There's a Gibson 4-string.
Oh, God.
That's got to go. I made Kabula cut the tip of that one.
Yeah, he had it looked like a giant violin bass.
I said, cut the tip of it.
Yeah, Sid the Kid had that.
I'm just a jerk.
Appreciate you guys coming up here, and I mean, again, we've been doing a lot of stuff over the years, and look forward to working with you again in the future. Just like that you came.
Thank you, Chris. Really, awesome. And we're all off the beaten path.
Yeah,
that's why we're here.
Oh, he's really off the beaten path.
Yeah, this guy's off. He didn't hold
I want to maybe host a retirement party up here for me, guys. Coffee next time. Coffee.
Bring the cigar people in here.
Yeah, some cigars, coffee, and cannolis.
We'll set something up on the roof.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I want to have a retirement party in every city I played. I've been coming here fucking 40 years, you fucks.
Any plans for that? You know, a little.
Not yet. I'm making them. I'm setting it up. I got 36 months to go.
We let him do what he wants. He's crazy. So.
Yeah.
36 months.
Yeah.
He'll count it.
That's right. And you can't buy that entertainment. Remember that.
If you see him like in 10 months, he'll tell you exactly. 26 months.
Yeah. 25 months.
As the tour starts winding down, he starts telling you a fucking hour.
Yeah. Come on, guys. We're going to be home in 72 hours. I figure out of that 72 hours, how many hours you going to sleep? How many hours you going to be by yourself, jerking off or going to the bathroom, taking a shower? Yeah, so you only got to worry a couple of hours. And you only got to look at my face for like 15 hours. Now get out of here after that. And I'll see you at rehearsal. I see you in the pit.
I think we can end on that. So again, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you. You got it, man. It was fun.
It was great.
Why am I going insane?